I want you to think of somebody, maybe it's you, who did everything right. They meditated every morning. They wrote the affirmations. They visualized the new house, the new partner, their bank account number. They did all the protocols with discipline for months. Now maybe think of someone else that did none of it perfectly. They skipped days. They barely believed the whole thing, and their life changed anyway. What's the real difference? I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to soften it. The problem was never your effort. It was never one more technique, a different technique stacked on the pile. It was never more information. Your body never got the memo. And today I'm going to show you exactly why and exactly what closes that gap. Nearly every single one of my followers, you are here because you're analytical, you're smart, you're logical, you want the science behind it, and that's exactly what I'm going to give you. Here's the other glitch. Your intelligence, your logical mind can also be the Achilles heel, because oftentimes what we're looking for is the information, and that's the glitch. Our body has to be part of the equation. Stick around because I love this topic and you might be fascinated by this. Now, picture a woman standing in front of her mirror every morning for a year. And she says, I'm abundant. Money flows easily to me. She feels it. She means it. Then she opens the mail or her rent notification hits the phone. And what happens? Her stomach clenches. Her jaw tightens. She feels tension up here in her shoulders because her body is running the exact program that it's run since she was 8 years old, sitting in the kitchen when she heard her father say, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to struggle for everything. You see, her conscious mind, her logic mind said one thing, but her nervous system didn't get the memo. Her nervous system was saying something completely different. And you want to guess which one wins? It's our nervous system every single time. So here's what almost nobody explains correctly about reprogramming the subconscious mind. You cannot talk your way out of a program that's been installed unconsciously. You cannot talk your way out of a program that was installed before you had the language for it. A child doesn't learn money is unsafe from a lecture or from life experience. They learn it from the tone in the room when their parents got the bills. That's not a belief you hold. That's a belief that holds you. And it lives in your body. It lives in the neurology, not just in your vocabulary. So if you've been affirming, visualizing, meditating, and you're still stuck, hear me clearly here. You are not failing. You're just using the wrong doorway. Now, here's where this gets precise, because there are 3 names of why nothing you've tried is stuck fully up to this point. So here's the 3 names that I want you to think about. Benjamin Libet. In 1983, Libet ran a now famous experiment measuring brain activity during simple decisions, and he found what's called the brain's readiness potential. And it fires before people reported being consciously aware of deciding. Researchers still debate exactly what this means for our free will, but for the time being, here's the piece that's useful to us. By the time we consciously choose the affirmation, our nervous system felt a response that's already in motion. So there's a plausible reason why affirmations by themselves literally could feel like we're swimming upstream. We're arriving too late because the decision has already been made in our unconscious mind and in our nervous system. So here's the next name, Stephen Porges, the Polyvagal Theory. He proposed that your nervous system holds a hierarchy of states. And when it detects threat, whether it's real or remembered, it drops you out of that calm, connected state. That's usually the state that hopefully we're in when we're doing the affirmations. But in a heartbeat, we change from a state where, if things are possible, into survival mode. So here's what that means for us. As we're trying to reprogram ourselves, while our body reads the room as unsafe, our system might treat this new belief like an actual stranger at the door, not because the belief is wrong, but because the body doesn't feel safe enough yet to let it in. Lisa Feldman Barrett, this is the third name. Her research suggests that emotions aren't something that simply happens to you. They're actually closer to predictions that our brain constructs from past experiences. So sit with that for a second. You don't feel abundance on command because feeling doesn't always work like a switch. It's more like a prediction mechanism. It's more like a forecast. And your brain keeps forecasting the past until you give it new data to forecast from. So here's the actual question. How do you change a program that moves faster than your words? How do you change a program that's already living in your body? How do you change a program that's predicting the future from the past? So here are the 3 doors. We're going to talk about 3 doors where we can actually change these. Not 3 more techniques stacked around the other ones that are already exhausting you. It's 3 doors in the same door that you've been opening. And the third one tells you with certainty what's actually working. Door 2 is the mechanism almost nobody teaches. So stay with me here. Let's walk through these doors together. Door number 1, safety first. Your body, your nervous system is looking for safety. So before you do a single affirmation, we have to move our body out of panic mode. We have to move our body out of survival mode because nothing gets rewired while we're feeling in a threatened state. This is neurobiology, guys. You cannot logic your brain out of survival mode. When you feel that sense of panic because there's a bill that's due or a contract canceled or something's not going exactly right, your body's in that tense mode, you cannot do an affirmation, I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm abundant in that moment. That's not how we rewire our nervous system. And this isn't just about relaxing. It's about signaling safety to the oldest part of your brain through the one channel it actually listens to, your physiology. So here's how we use our physiology to our advantage. Maybe you've heard things like, turn that frown upside down. As we smile, forcing the smile, it actually changes how we feel. Try this exercise. Do a slow exhale, not an inhale. As you're exhaling, exhale for slightly longer than the inhale. Soften your jaw. Maybe you notice, I don't know if you've ever noticed before, you feel like there's tension in your shoulders and you realize it's because you're tensing them. We can also do that in the jaw. So let your jaw soften a little bit. Put your feet flat on the ground. See, you're not breaking into your own subconscious. You're giving it a reason to unlock the door for you. We're using the techniques that your body is already using, except this time we're doing it on purpose. So here's door number 2, memory reconsolidation. This one is magic. I'm going to link to some other videos. I have some Neville Goddard videos where we talk extensively about memory reconsolidation, but for the time being, memory reconsolidation is an old emotional memory. Money is unsafe. That memory sitting at the kitchen table where your dad said something or your mother said something. These emotional memories are not written in stone. They are not written in permanent ink. And when we say that what the mind is doing is predicting the future based on the past, part of what we might need to do is rewrite some of that information. There's real research suggesting that these memories are malleable. They're editable, but only in a very specific window. So when we activate the old memory, money is scarce, money doesn't grow on trees. We could feel it in our body right now. There's probably some tension there. And while that memory is active, we want to introduce some information that contradicts that. Evidence suggests that the brain doesn't just cover the old file, we can actually rewrite the old file. So here's an example. Where you're sitting perhaps you remember, money isn't safe, money doesn't grow on trees. You can hear the voice of your dad, you see the face of your dad, maybe you feel a little bit of that tension. In the moment that you feel that tension, I want you to think about that memory through this lens. Was your dad a psychologist? Was he a money expert? Was he into self-growth? Was he into personal growth? Did he have any idea that the power of the word itself could be creating his reality? Did he have any idea that the reticular activation system was in effect at that moment? Now, as you start to think those thoughts, obviously, you love your dad, you love your mom, and that memory really happened. But when we take new information and inject it into that memory, the brain literally has the ability to rewrite it, to give it less significance. This is a reason why affirmations alone often fail, because the affirmation doesn't open a file. It just tapes a new label over an old wound. This process of memory reconsolidation actually opens the file, holds the old feeling, and updates it with something that actually contradicts and maybe even neutralizes that fear. Here's door number 3, evidence collection. You don't need faith. You do need data. Your brain doesn't change its forecast because you told it to. It changes when the evidence contradicts the old prediction often enough. So you log it. Every time money shows up unexpectedly, every time you feel safe where you used to panic, not necessarily the big, massive wins, the small deviations that maybe we weren't paying attention to before. The forecast only updates when it's wrong enough, often enough. So start collecting proof. And your brain starts forecasting a new future, not because you believed harder, but because you gave it data that it can't ignore. So here's the complete map. Here's the 3 doors. Safety first. Relaxing the body, relaxing the jaw, deep exhale so that the door opens, so that the system opens for you. Reconsolidation, so that the file actually changes. And then evidence, so that the new program, the new information becomes the default. So here's the question I know you're carrying. How do you know it's working? Well, here's your sign. The program has changed the day you notice. You don't have to manage your reaction quite the same because the old reaction simply didn't show up. Maybe the rent notification comes and your stomach doesn't drop, or an opportunity appears and you don't tense up. You don't talk yourself out of it. You don't have to affirm your way to calmness. You just are calm. That's not a feeling you manufactured. That's a forecast from the past into the future that's changed. And that, not the vision board, not the journaling streak, is the proof that the rewrite actually happened. So if this is already shifting something for you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That helps tell the algorithm to put this information in front of somebody else who's been doing affirmations for years and then blaming themselves that it's not working. I also want your comments below. Which part hit the hardest? The nervous system, the reconsolidation, the rent notification? I read every single one of your comments and I want to know which one needs more explanation. So subscribe, welcome every week. I am breaking down the science that nobody taught you about your own mind. My friends, reality responds to your consciousness, and now you know that's not just a pretty phase, that's neuroscience.